Now let's see the next one, which is our sign up forms. And for sign up forms, remember that we can create sign up forms and we can embed the sign up forms on our website. We can also send the sign up form as links to individuals through email, or we can even add in those sign up forms as link in on our website also, so that people can be able to fill in this form and they can be able to so we can be able to get those details into Zoho campaigns. So let's see how we can create a sign up form. So remember that sign up forms are a bridge between our website and our email list, so that whenever anybody fills out this form, whether it's on our site or we are sending the link in an email or wherever this form has been placed, when people start putting in their details into this form, it is going to be synced directly into Zoho campaigns. So when you click on create form, you are going to see the page where you can add in the name of your form, and you can choose a particular template for your form. So when you click on choose template, it is going to take you to the page where you can see the different types of form that can be created. We have the compact form, we have the banner form, and we have the long forms, and we have the standard pop-up, and we also have the standard pop-up forms, and we have the blanket forms and the save templates. So let's see how each of them works. So for the compact form, it's just like a short form which actually just have the email and the name, the email and the name. So it is just for short and quick sign-ups. And we have the banner form which you can embed on your website, and people can be able to add this to their website, and people can be able to add in their emails and their names. And we have the long form. The long form is actually a very long form where people can be able to put in multiple details on that form. So as the name implies, it's actually long form where you can add in multiple fields on this particular form. And we have the standard pop-up, which is going to pop up on your website or on your landing pages or wherever you had them into. So we have the blanket pop-up. The blanket pop-up is just a type of pop-up that is going to cover the whole page of your website. So people will have to fill in this form, and when they fill in the form and they click on submit, then it will be gone. So it is from the name blanket, it covers the whole page of your website. And we also have the save templates where you can be able to see all of the templates you have created for your forms, and you can see all of that templates in here. So for the sake of tutorial, we are going to be creating a compact form, which is a simple form where people can just put in their name and their emails. You can pick in all of these templates that they have in here. They have various templates you can actually pick from. You can just pick whichever one works for you. And when you pick on that, you just click on any of it and you can use that template. So let's find a simple one, and let's say the one we can use. I want something very simple. So I'm just going to pick this, and when you click on use template, it is going to take you to this page of your form, and you can decide to add in the body of your this is the this is the part to customize your form. And we have this page body, which you can decide to change this image, or you can even use a background color if that works for you. You can decide to change this image and pick whichever image you want. You can decide to use your library images, or you can also use the ones you have uploaded already, or you can upload from your computer and put them in here. So this is the page, this is the part where you can pick what you want to edit. You can decide to change this and change the background image. You can also decide to add in a text. This begin now, you can change it to whatever you want. And let's change it to, so we can change this text to subscribe to our newsletter, and we can decide to add in a font color, and we can change this font to, we can change this text to whatever color we want. We can also decide to change this particular font type, and we can use what font type we want. And we can also increase this to whatever font we want to use. And we can also decide to add in a background color to this. And I don't want that, so I'm just going to remove this. So you can change the background color. We can decide to add in a border. You can also decide to add in a border color for this. And you can also decide to change the width and the length of this. So let's just increase the width to this. Yeah. So you can also decide to increase the height for this text. and add in whichever one works for you. And when you're done, oh sorry, I want to remove this border, so I'll just take this off. I'm just going to include none. When you're done with all of these, and you go back and you can see the part where you can adjust this also. So you can decide to delete this text and add in whatever text you want. You can change this the font to whatever you want for this particular paragraph text. You can also change the background color and the border and all of this. You can also decide to impute field name. So we have the one for name, and you can decide to say that you want to add this as first name, or you can decide to change it to whatever works for you. So I've added this as first name, and we can also use last name, whichever works for you. And you click on go back, and you are going to see the input field for the email address. We can also decide to change that to whatever you want. When you click on it, you can decide to change the label or the text, whichever works for you. And when you go back, you can also decide to edit your button also, and you can add in another background color for your button. You can use blue, you can use whichever color works for you. and and for the text inside, we can decide to change the text to white, or you can decide to change it to whatever color. So let's increase this to 18. Yeah. And when you're done, you just go back and you click on your error message also. So the error message is going to show up when maybe they did not fill the particular field they were supposed to, or they did not put in a particular detail in the form. The error message is going to show up. And also when you go back, you are going to see the setup page where you can also decide that you want to map this name into the first name, or you want to map it into the you want to map the first this name, you want to map it into last name, or you want to map it into first name. Since we are asking for their first name, the right thing to do is to map into first name. So when you are done, you click on save, and when you click on save, all what you've done has been saved. You can also decide to reset this form, and it's going to reset it to the original design of this form. And you can also decide that you want to change this template. You do not like this template and you want to change it to something else. So you can decide to pick whichever template is this from here. You can pick the banner form, or you can pick the long form. And when you click on change, it is going to use that particular template, and it's going to change the particular template we just finished designing. So when you click on use template, and it's going to ask you that you are picking another template, do you want to change? And when you click on go ahead, this template is going to be changed to another type. So this is for the long form, and for the long form, we can add in various fields for the long form. So for the long form, you can also decide to drag in whatever field you want to add for this particular form. So let's say we want to add in their job title, you can just drag that in here and break that in. For each of the fields, you can decide to edit this, and instead of using job title, you can ask something like what do you do. But when they put in that details, it is going to be mapped into job title. You can decide that you want to mark this field as a required field, or you want to mark it as an hidden field, whichever works for you. And when you're done, you click on save. You can also see that we have the contact email, and it has been mapped as required already. It is defaultly mapped as required. So you can also decide to add in all of this field in here. You can ask for their country, you can ask for the city and their address. You can also ask for mobile, and when you bring mobile in here, you can also be able to edit that and mark as required, or you can also hide the field if that works for you. When you're done, you click on save, and as you can see, capture has been added, and we can leave that in make sure that just to make sure that the uh, we do not have both putting in information on our form. You can also decide I want to add in a logo. You can pick from your library and just add in a logo from your library. So I'm just going to pick something simple. So I'm just going to pick this, and I'm just going to add in this logo to this form, and that logo is going to be added to my form. And I can decide to change this logo, or I can decide to delete this, or whichever works for me. And I can also decide that for the logo, I want to increase the width. After adding whatever field I want to add, I've added all the fields. I can also decide to add in the topics. So for the topics, I can say that we want to add in marketing topic. You can also decide to add the topics in here so that we can be able to ask them what topics they are interested, and they can be able to choose their preference, whether they want to hear marketing newsletters from us, or they want brand updates, or they want newsletters, or they want brand events and all of those things. You can add that as your topic, and you can add that in your form also. You can also decide to add in special elements, and we have capture. We can also decide to add in the privacy notes, and we can add in multiple topic selections. Yeah, that has been chosen. And we can also decide to use our own capture if you want, or you can use Zoho campaigns capture. So let's use Zoho campaigns capture. And yeah, that has been added. When you click on page in here, it is going to ask you for all of the settings, and you can also be able to change the particular font for this form, or you can even decide that you want to increase this font to, let's say, 18. So we can also decide to change the font, the background color of the form. Instead of using this blue, we can say we want to use red, or we can decide to use green, or we can even decide to use black, whichever works for you. And when you pick in the color you want to use, you click on choose. And when you click on choose, that particular color has been updated. You can also decide that you want to use a background image and not a background color. And when you pick in the particular image you want to use and you click on open, it is going to be added as your background image. So as you can see, it has added that image as my background image. But since it's looking awkward, so I'm just going to take it off. So I'm just going to go back and click on this as my background color. The next one is for my form title. I can decide to increase this text to whatever I want. I can say I want to increase it to 20. Oh, sorry, that's for my form title. This is my form title here. This join our newsletter is my form title. I can decide to increase this font and just increase it to whatever font size I want. So I can say I want to increase this to 36, and I can also decide to put this in the middle. I can also decide to change the color of this title, and I can use whatever color works for me. And let's change this to this. And we can also decide to change in the background color of this title, and we can use white if that works for us, or we can use red, or we can use whatever color works for you. When you are done, you click on choose. And also for this, you can decide to use the dotted border, or you can decide to use the dash border. And also for the body, you can decide to pick the font for the body. So we have this body one, and we can decide to increase this font to 13, and we can decide to change this color to maybe red, or we can also decide to change the background color for the body to black. And as you can see, it changes to black, but let's use white, but let's use another color if that works for us. You can also click on choose, and that will be done. You can also decide to add in a border, and you can click a solid border, and you can also pick the color for your border. So you can say you want to use red for your border, and you want to increase the pixel of your border to 4, and as you can see, it has increased my border. Yeah, so that is for body. We can also say that for the field, that is the each of the field, we want to increase the font size to maybe 14 or 15, or whichever works for you. And we can also change the font that has been used. So when you type it in, you are going to see the font that is being used, and you can see the size also. You can also decide to change the field to blue. That means if we type in anything, it's going to be in blue color. Or we can also decide I want to add in a border for each field, and we can decide to add the color of the border for each field. As you can see, the border has been added, and we can decide to increase the pixel of the border if we want, and we can add in the padding and the field label. This is for the field label, so this is will be for this label, the contact email and all of this. We can also decide to increase this to 18, and the field label will be increased to 18. We can also decide to change the color of the field label, and we can add in whatever color works for us. And when you add in that color and you click on choose, that has been added. And we can also do the same thing for the button, where we can change our button size. We can increase the font for the button. We can make it 20, and as you can see, that has been increased. And we can also decide to change in the color of our button to maybe blue or whatever works for us. And remember that we have the border, and we can decide to change in the border color also, and we can use whatever color works for us. So let's use this, and that has been updated. Let me use another color. Yeah, so you can decide to change the pixel of your border size to maybe 5 pixel or 1 or 2, and if you use 2 it's going to be reduced. And you can change in your border radius also, and you can change in the size, the padding to the left and to the right, and all of the paddings. So for the logo, you can decide to increase the logo width if you want, or you can decide to choose any of these if you want to align to the center, or you want to align to the right, or align to the left. So let's just align to the center. And we can also change the aspect ratio if you want. Instead of using the original ratio, which is going to show the original size, you can also decide to use the custom aspect ratio, and that means you can be able to change the width and the height to whichever pixel you want. And that is it for the logo. So when you are done with all of these settings in here, you can then click on save. And when you click on save, your changes has been saved. And you can also decide to change the template again if you want, and you can also decide to preview your form to see how it is going to look like to subscribers. So when you click on preview form, as you can see, this is your form. As you can see, this is your form, and this is how it is going to show up in your subscribers page. And now when you go back to this, and you can click on save and proceed, and when you click on save and proceed, it's going to take you to this page, and you can edit the design again, or you can preview this form. Then let's name this form our website sign up form. And you click on this check, and that has been changed. And we can also decide to associate a mailing list to this form, and we can say that we want to add this mailing anybody that filled in this form should be added to the website's contact list. So that means if they fill in this form, they will be added to this list. And you can click on associate, and that has been done. You can also decide to configure a topic for this particular form. So that means anybody that filling this form will be added to the marketing topic and be added to the brand update topic. And when you pick in the topic, you click on associates, and that has been associated. And we can also decide to edit this response in here. So we can also decide to set up the thank you page. When we click on edit response, it's going to take you to the page for the for when there is a new contact. This is going to be the page that will be showing, which is going to be welcome to our new our company name will be added in here. And we can also decide to edit this thank you page, and we can write in whatever we want in here. We can also decide to bring in our logo, and our logo will be, you can choose your logo here, and you can update that. So when you're done with the thank you page settings, you click on save, and that will be saved. You can also do that for existing contacts, and for existing contacts is going, you can decide to add in another thank you page, which is going to show for existing contacts. So we can say something like thank you for completing the form, we have updated your details with us, or you can add in whatever you want. And for resubscribe email, we can say when someone decides to opt out of this list, we can decide to send them this message so that they can be able to resubscribe to our mailing list. Okay, so when you click on cancel, you can say that on submission, you want to be able to redirect them to a sign up form, the sign up, thank you page that we just saw. And on confirmation, we can decide to redirect them to a thank you page, a confirmation thank you page, and this will be the confirmation thank you page. And remember that you can be able to edit all of this when you click on edit response. So you can decide to show your advanced options where you can see where you can be able to track. You can add in a tracking test where you can be able to track in all of these details. And you can also decide to push to Zoho CRM. So if these leads are coming in from here, you can decide that you want to push them to Zoho CRM, and you can decide to update existing contacts, or you only want to you can decide that you want to update and push in new contact into Zoho CRM, or you can also decide that you only want to update existing contacts. So if any contact is coming in from your website and they are coming through this form into Zoho campaigns, this contact is going to be updated, or new ones are going to be created in Zoho CRM. You click on save when you're done, and that has been saved. And you can also decide to configure your mapping. And when you configure your mapping, you can see where you can be able to pick the account, and you can pick which module you want to map this with. So you can say that you want to map this with the leads module in your CRM, or you want to map it with the contact module, or you want to map it with the custom module you have created. So let's choose leads, and let's click on save. And this is going to show the real-time data after connecting this. You can see those people that have been pushed to Zoho CRM, and you can see those people who skipped from entering Zoho CRM. You can also decide to push to workflow, and what this means that when they come and they fill in this form, we want to be able to add them to a particular workflow that we have created in Zoho campaigns. So that means when they are added to this list, automatically that workflow starts for them. So you can decide to select whatever workflow we have, and currently I do not have any workflow available, so nothing is showing up in here. So let's say we have a workflow. All I just need to do is to select the workflow, and when I click on select, I can be able to associate with that particular workflow. So let's just cancel this. And after you made sure that all of this has been done, you can then click on launch. When you click on launch, your sign up form has now been created. So when you go back in here and you go back to your forms, you can see that your website form has been created, and you can decide to get the code to embed this sign up form into your website. So you can decide to use this and embed this. So all you need to do is just to copy this form and to place this form on your website. So I have added in a video where I did in details how to embed your website form, how to embed your Zoho forms. Is exactly the same method. So you can watch the video in here to embed this form on your website. So you can also do that for your WordPress code. You can do that for your short URL code. So this is the code where you can be able to add to your emails, so that people can be able to click on the link and it will take them to the form where they can be able to fill in the form. And this will be for your QR code, where people can be able to scan this QR code and they can be able to sign up to the form. And this is going to be for the button, where it is going to generate this code where you can add this button to your email campaigns. And we have the one for iframe code, which you can add to your website also. So you can also decide to edit by clicking on edit, and you can decide to clone this particular form you just created by clicking on the clone, and that is going to duplicate the form. You can also click on more to edit the responses, or you can remove from default, or you can even save the template and you can delete if you want, or you can check in the report and see the number of people that have filled in this form. So that is all for sign up form.